You may have heard the term "be authentic" being used in our modern world. People seem to throw that phrase around, you've got to be your authentic self these days. And while it is true that we love as humans somebody who is genuine and there's no fluff with them, the fact is that people are trying to hack authenticity to come across as more authentic even though they aren't really. And when it comes to getting on a stage or in front of people and presenting something, being authentic is actually really useful. But the question arises, how can I be authentic, especially when I'm giving some form of speech or presenting some material? Well, in this video, we're going to look at how you can genuinely be authentic and how it can benefit you by engaging your audience more and helping them to take something away from what you're saying and not to be that fake authentic that we're seeing going on everywhere today. So what does it mean then to be authentic? Well, it means to be who you really are. There's no fakeness, you're not pretending, you're not playing it up to try to appeal to somebody's personality. No, you are just you. You can think of it this way, an actor playing a role is not authentic. That is not actually who they are as a person. They are pretending. And it's the same if you are trying to come across as something you genuinely aren't. Being authentic means that you will show people your true colors, your real self. Now, obviously, there are areas of our lives we want to keep tactfully away from. Maybe there are really strong opinions because we don't want to use our authenticity to drive people away. Instead, being authentic should attract people to us because we will connect with them by showing them our true colors. By being who you really are, you can gain credibility because the people in the audience will know there's no fakeness with this person. Most of the people who you find you really are drawn to are people who are genuinely themselves and they don't put on some pretense about who they are. Some of the real benefits of being authentically yourself are that it will build trust, foster engagement, and more importantly than anything else, it will differentiate you from others who are in the crowd. Yes, there are many people who are trying to be authentic really by pretending to be authentic. But if you are genuinely trying to be yourself, you will attract people who like you. And this is one of the benefits of being ourselves. Now, in this world we live in, everybody has a voice. Everybody's on the internet, on YouTube or on other video services, on social media, projecting their message out. But you will attract your crowd. You will attract people who like you because of who you are. So really we need to lean in to who we are and not pretend to be something we're not, because eventually when you build an audience and you have an audience, they will eventually be repelled if you start to be authentic if you haven't been in the first place. So instead, start from a place of authenticity, build the trust, build the engagement, and have a credibility with your audience. Now, when it comes to public speaking and being authentic when we're talking to people, we need to help people to understand where we are coming from. Show them your values. What do you like? How do you feel about a topic? Why does it motivate you? Why are you passionate? Show yourself, reveal your character, and help people to understand where you are coming from. If you're being authentic, then people will be drawn to you because you will be showing them what you truly value. If you're being authentic, well then using your speech, you can help people to align with what you have to say. Now, if you have a very strong message or something you really believe in and you want people to join you on the journey you're going through, well then being authentic and using your genuine self and how you really feel and your passion for it will help people to come on board with you. This is really key because it means that they will then be interested to hear more of what you have to say. Being authentic allows them to stay on the journey with you because they've found someone that their thoughts, their values align with. So by being yourself, you will definitely attract people, but not just that, they will stay with you on the journey. Now, we definitely said at the beginning of this video that some people are trying to hack their authenticity. We don't want to do that, but there are ways that we can show more of our personality, more of our genuine self in our speeches. And one of the best ways we can do that is by being conversational. Being conversational allows you to be yourself. Now, being conversational doesn't always come naturally, but it is something you can work on. The more you're on stage, the more relaxed you'll get, the more you'll be able to have a conversational manner about the way you speak. Being conversational doesn't mean you don't prepare what you're going to say, writing it down or outlining. You still do all of that, but you just try to write it in a way which reflects your actual voice, how you actually feel and how you would actually say things. The thing is that when we start to write a speech, we start to not use our own voice and instead use what we think should be said and how we think it should be said. And we don't want to do that. Try to use your own voice, how you would say things in your outline. You can still outline. So if you're a shy person, then you can still have an outline, but you use your own voice rather than this idea in our head of what people should sound like when they get on stage. So use conversational manner to be able to connect with your audience authentically. We've gone over this a lot in a lot of my material, but stories are such a great way of connecting with people. We tell stories in pretty much every day of our life. And I've gone over this in videos, and I'm going to share with you a resource for helping you to do better storytelling now, because we're going to touch on stories a bit more. So if you want to be able to tell better stories, more authentic stories, then go to www.the-speakersacademy.co.uk/storytelling, and there I have a cheat sheet you can download. It's completely free, but it will help you to craft excellent stories. Keep it on your phone. It's a PDF, or you can print it out if you have a printer and use it to craft stories that will help engage with your audience and reflect your genuine personality, your authentic self. But we can use stories from our own life to help connect with people. You see, when we use stories, especially stories that happen to us, maybe which will feed into why we believe what we believe, the values we hold, well, then those stories can help connect us with our audience. Our audience will go, oh, I had something similar happen to me. Again, bringing in that alignment. Or they'll see why you feel a certain way on a certain topic, and that gives you credibility, and it will engage them to keep following you as you go through your speech. So use storytelling and get that resource, that free cheat sheet. Like I say, it's either in the comments, you can download it from a link down there, or go to my website and you can use that to help craft brilliant stories. Again, not inauthentic ones. We're not trying to make up stories, but we're trying to use our stories and word them in a way that people will connect with. And that's what that resource is for. So make sure you download that, because it will help you to tell better stories during your speeches. Body language. See, we can be genuine in the way that we move. When I stand like this, I'm not looking directly at you. I'm closed in my body language. I'm not moving. I'm not interesting. But body language is really key. If we're relaxed, if we're open, well, then it reflects in our body language. It shows the audience that we are comfortable in our own skin. We're comfortable then with what we're saying. We're comfortable with how we're saying it. Our body language reflects our personality, and our personality is what is authentic to the audience. So use your body language. This takes a bit of practice. Again, if you're shy or introverted, you may struggle with body language. You may struggle with gestures, but a bit of forethought, a bit of practicing beforehand. Again, practice is not unauthentic. It's just making sure you can deliver what you're saying in the way it needs to be said. But using your body language to help people to connect to you, because you seem open and approachable, not closed and rigid and not making eye contact and boring. That's how we can convey it. But sometimes when we get on stage, this is how we feel. We don't want to talk to people because we feel nervous. If you're feeling nervous, click this video, I can't remember which corner it is, click the video that I've made here about gestures and body language and how it can impact your speech and connect you with your audience. So these tips will help you to be able to be more authentic, to show more of your authentic self through your speech. Now, when you're on stage, about to deliver your speech or in front of the room, about to give your presentation, you may be wanting some help in that moment of delivery. Well, the first thing I can help you with, like I said before, is to prepare. Now, preparing isn't inauthentic. You need to know what you're going to say, and how you're going to say it when you're in front of people to be authentic, to be able to connect with them as an audience, to get your message across. If you don't write anything down, you'll forget half the things you need to say and you won't be able to present your material properly. But there is a key here. You don't want to prepare so much it becomes a memorized speech, because then it will be wooden and inauthentic. So make sure you practice what you're saying, make sure you write it down, but not to that point of over rehearsing it. You still want to be able to be flexible, to be able to be conversational, and that comes from being very familiar with your material, but not killing it by over rehearsing. Another really important way that we can connect with people and come across as genuine is eye contact. This is something I had to really work on, because naturally I want to look anywhere else but directly into the eye of the people that I'm speaking to. You might notice that when I'm doing these videos, that even staring into the camera lens I struggle with sometimes, and my eyes want to wander, I want to look away. And I find when I'm talking to people sometimes I'm looking completely past them, not to them, and that can be very, very distracting and can come across like you're not interested in the person you're speaking with. So make sure you look directly at the people who you're talking to. This eye contact helps to connect you with them. Now, obviously, if you have a large audience, you can't be staring at one particular person. That comes across as creepy. But instead, you want to be looking around the audience and sort of saying something to each member of the audience. If you do that, then it comes across like you're speaking directly to them in that moment. That comes across as very authentic and like you care about them, which you do, in person. So make sure you practice eye contact. One of the best ways you can do that is by looking into a mirror. So there's a mirror just over there. Or use your phone lens, because it really will help you to then look back at your eye contact and see how you got on. So record yourself. You actually need to get comfortable with looking at yourself, especially if you are more introverted. And the more you can look yourself in the eye through the camera lens, you'll be able to see where you're drifting and where maybe you need to refocus your attention, and you'll be able to give better, more engaging speeches with eye contact. This is something we never really speak about as speakers, but it's the pause. What's the pause? Well, when we get on stage, we get really a little bit nervous and we start to speak and we keep speaking and we don't stop. We go all the way through our speech, we get all of our main points out, we get to the end, give our conclusion, get off. And what's happened in that moment? Well, we've done everything we wanted to do, but our audience has basically tried to catch up with a moving freight train. They've been chasing after it the whole way. You want to allow your audience to get on board with what you're saying. So pause in your speech to allow them to absorb what you've just said and to catch up, especially if you're writing something which you want them to be taking notes about. It takes time. We read in our head faster than we speak, and we write slower than we can take in. So you need to allow people to finish their sentences if they're taking notes, to catch up with you, absorb that point you were making. This is really, really key if you're about to change topics or move on from the point you were making, maybe to the next point or the next thing. So if you're coming to the end of a really, really important point, you need to pause. That's generally why I put little breaks in with little video cards to give you a moment to understand we've finished that point and we're moving on to another one. You can do that in your speeches by just pausing. Trust me, if you stop for 3 seconds, it will feel like 30. So you could go 10 seconds without saying anything, and it will still make the point. My point is that you need to pause and let your audience catch up. It's a kindness for your audience. Pretty much every video I make touches somewhere on anxiety because it is so important that we understand that anxiety will kill your authenticity. You need to be able to give the speech that you've designed. But when you get to the environment that you're speaking in, all of a sudden, anxiety rises and you will lose your confidence. So how can we tackle anxiety, speech anxiety particularly, when we get to a venue and we want to be authentic and connect genuinely with the people in the audience? Here's a couple of tips. Visualization. Now, I've done a lot of different things on anxiety and I've given a lot of different tips, but this is my favorite. If you were a sports person, you would visualize your success. You would visualize getting the trophy, standing on the podium, spraying the champagne. Maybe in life, if you have a goal you want to achieve, you will visualize succeeding at that goal. And it's the same when it comes to your speeches. Visualize yourself giving that speech. You know, if we visualize what we're going to say, we become more likely to be successful. It gives us a positive mental image of ourselves, completing and successfully giving the thing that we want most, in this case, our speech. You need to do that. You need to visualize yourself winning, because when the anxiety starts to build, it's a negative self-image, making you feel bad about yourself, down on yourself. You don't need that. You need a positive self-image. So visualize your success, because it will actually lead to your success. The second tip I want to give you is that you need to embrace your imperfections. If you're going to be genuinely you, you need to understand that sometimes you're going to trip up. You're going to make a mistake, you're going to fumble a word, you're going to say it incorrectly, you're going to maybe forget what you're going to say. There's going to be ums. I'll leave that one in, because that's just what happens. That is being you, isn't it? Now, of course, you don't want to completely destroy your speech with it falling apart in front of your audience, but understanding that as humans, we're imperfect, we make little mistakes. And if we are genuine and accept our mistake, half the time the audience won't notice, and the other time it helps them to realize that you're human. And realizing you're human is realizing you're authentically who you really are. And those tips will help you to give the speech you want to and connect with the audience in that authentic way. So there we are. How to be authentic through public speaking. Just follow this video, watch it again a couple of times if you need to, and engage that audience with your genuine self. People want you, not some fake version of you, not someone pretending to be you, even if it's yourself pretending to be the ideal version of you. They don't want that. They want you. So give them that and use the tips in this video to enhance your authenticity. But remember, we don't want to be fake. If you found value in this video, click the like button. Subscribe for more, because there's always going to be more videos about how we can improve our public speaking, and I'll catch you in the next one.